I want to bring up Gus G for a minute. When you obviously you knew he was pretty good when he was younger. Did you expect? Because Fire obviously played in Ozzy and Firewind's been doing well for itself. It's amazing how many people that you kind of might have had an impact on in the beginning, and that's one of them. Did you see him becoming, kind of as well known as he is now?
Hard to say. I saw directly that he had like the star quality.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And first tour we did in Japan, I was promoting him a lot for like the magazines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted him to be a rock star. And when the band decided not to be a full-time band, that's why he left the band, because he wanted to be a full-time musician. So for me, it was just like, yeah, absolutely. He was a good guitar player. We teach him, me and Snow especially, teach him to be even better guitar player. Not by technical stuff, by listening to music, listening to Scorpions, listen to Thin Lizzy, listen to this stuff here.
Yeah.
You don't have to shred all the time. You have to play stuff. I actually throw away all guitar solos on the first album, more or less. And I told him, it's like, if you have nothing to say, shut up. So say something with the guitar solos.
Mm-hmm.
And so absolutely, I for me, it's like I saw him. He was a rock star. Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that he's going to end up in Aussie, of course.
No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing because I remember like the first Firewind album, right? I remember, Night Rage and some of these other bands that he was playing in, and he started off in, and then I don't know what it was. I think it was that album Allegiance. I think it was like the fourth Firewind album. I think that was like the album that they put out that really was like the open the doors for him, I think, because just the songs and everything on that record, I thought was very, very good. And that's kind of where Gus, for me, was like, okay, this guy is the real deal. And I remember when that album came out, and I remember him playing in Dream Evil. I remember him in a lot of these bands early on. So Mystic Prophecy, that was another one. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because Gus, I think, is a little bit younger than I am, but he definitely he's one of my favorite guitar players. That's why I ask this.
Yeah, but he's a really good guitar player. Actually, I got a new favorite now.
Yeah,
you do a guest solo on our album. I also co-writing 2 of the songs. That's Jonathan Torpenberg. He has a tremendous voice, and he's a really, really good guitar player.
Yeah,
he's insanely good guitar player, to be honest. He even also managed to play acoustic Spanish guitar really well, which is a very hard instrument to play. But I only play in this band Unguided, so but he's super talented. He is, to be honest.
Yeah, on these albums, you've always had talented musicians. You've always had people that were great players, songwriters. I can't I can't go back into the Dream Evil discography and think to myself, there's really, there's a bad album, because I don't really think there is. And you've always had people that have done really well on these records, either from the songwriting perspective or even, just the playing perspective, when you look at it. And what is it about a lot of the people, what do you look for when you find musicians to work with? What are some of the qualities that they have that say, you know what, I want to work with this person?
Well, it's coming to Dream Evil, it's like we have some lineup changes, but my thing is we run a democracy here. Everybody share everything equal, which also means songwriting. So if you cannot write songs, you are not welcome in the band. So even our drummer, he's a pretty good guitar player. And so that is important, but the most important is actually how people work as, persons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to have a good chemistry in the band. And it's not hard to find good musicians in Sweden, to be honest. Everybody the best one you find in Finland, to be honest. But second place is Sweden, I think. We have a tradition of playing music here, so it's pretty easy to find good people. Singers is always a problem, of course, but yeah. If you need a guitar player, you just pick somebody on the street.
Why is that? You know, because in Sweden, you know, one of the things it's funny you mentioned that, because I was talking to somebody, you know, a couple days ago, and I'm like, you know, I'm interviewing a lot of people musicians, and a lot of them seem to be from Sweden. and it's always interesting, you know, why is Sweden a country that always has a lot of great musicians coming out of it, more so than a lot of places? I mean, when I look at a lot of bands that, you know, for example, I get albums sent to me, I'm like, this band sounds good, and I look, three of the four people, or four of the five people, are from Sweden, right? And you know, what is it about your country that really has a lot of people like this, where music's like such a big thing for so many people there?
My idea is that we have a movement back in the days where the government was actually sponsored a lot of rehearsal rooms, because not everybody want to play football or soccer, as you call it, or do any sports. So they see that, okay, let's bring some rehearsal rooms to. So we had, like, when I was young, we had, like, in my area, we had like 5 or 6 rehearsal room that was owned kind of by the community, and where you can go there and play music. You had it, like, you get 2 hours 2 times a week. You book yourself in. That's one thing. And also, it's like, you know, we have 6 months of really cold weather here. And same with Finland. That's why I took up Finland. I think it's like kind of the weather. You don't want to be outside. And then if you're outside, you're skiing or whatever. And if you don't like that, then maybe you should pick up the guitar. Yeah. So, like, now these days, we have so many rehearsal rooms. Just like where I have my recording studio, we have 3 places, just like in 200 meters, where we have rehearsal rooms. And not one. I'm talking 10 rehearsal rooms, and 10 rehearsal rooms there, and 10 rehearsal rooms there. And, you know, everybody carrying a guitar or a bass or drumsticks or whatever, where I have my studio. And the whole house where is a lot of studios. So I think there is just this kind of tradition. And for Finland, I think it's the same. I don't know, but there is a lot of good musicians in Finland. I think agree. It could be the cold weather that actually makes it. It's easier not to play instrument if you're in Greece, for example, because it's always hot.
Yeah, it's warm and it's nice.
Yes.
Where if you're in Scandinavia, you know, you're really probably playing music, or maybe you're a hockey fan, because most people that I'm friends with from Sweden, we talk about hockey. That's a big sport for people there. And, you know, same thing with Finland. A lot of people from Finland, same thing. I mean, we talk about, you know, if you look at like the NHL, there's a lot of players from Sweden and Finland.
Yes.
In the league, and not just from Canada. And it's kind of like, you know, that's like the sport there, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you know, that and music. I mean, that's really, like I said, I sit here and I think to myself, man, a lot of the people that I'm interviewing are from Sweden, and, you know, and they're from different kinds of metal bands too. It's not just power metal, not just death metal bands. You know, maybe you have some more traditional sounding bands that, you know, more of that classic like Iron Maiden vibe as well. Yeah. So you get a lot of different, you know, all these bands that gets where I open up my email box and a record label or a publicist is sending me a new band. I look, they're from like probably over 50% of the time they're from Sweden.
Yeah, back in the days, that was our 3rd biggest export industry in Sweden. We have like Ericsson and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Big industry, Volvo and all that stuff, but 3rd biggest was music. And also I noticed when I was in Australia, I spent 3 months there, and I think like every third, fourth song I heard on the normal radio station. Oh, Swedish band, Cardigans, Roxette, ABBA. It's a lot of music from Sweden.
That's cool. Yeah, and the other thing is too, when I listen to bands from where you're from, the way that they speak and you know, a lot of the singers and stuff, they don't sound like they're from Europe, right? They're very like people from Sweden usually are very well spoken, and there are some that probably speak better English than people here. I mean, in all seriousness, and I remember somebody telling me that, I said, why do people from Scandinavia, especially from Sweden, why is their English so good? And a lot of them said that they watch a lot of movies. I don't know how true that is, but they watch a lot of movies in English and they just get good at speaking the language, you know, more so than people from some other countries in Europe.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we don't do like the Germans. Germans dub the movies to German.
Yeah.
So we have subtitles instead, and also I think it's like we're starting in third grade in the elementary school to study English, and that's a problem for actually to be like my colleague Robert Kukla. He's from Canada, and all this young. My English sucks compared to them. To be honest, even my son told me that when I didn't need to do it.
Yeah.
And he and all his clients, young Swedish guys, sitting there talking English with kind of perfect American accent. And I'm like, guys, stop it. You know, we are in Sweden now. It's talk Swedish. Robert needs to learn Swedish. Otherwise, he's going to be here for 20 years and cannot even understand Swedish. So he's my kind of integration project, and he's really good after 5 years now. He's really good with Swedish. So no, I don't care anymore.